What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. More Hail Caesar faction reviews here as we take a look at the Carolingian Franks today. So a nice short list after the last two being quite lengthy. So roughly mid to late 8th through 9th centuries AD. And again, obvious things to look at here: Charlemagne, Louis the Pious, Charles the Bald, Battle of Roncesvalles Pass, and so on. So a fun but short list here. So this is another one where there are going to be a couple of basic requirements. So, and you can't necessarily go all one way or the other, but infantry has to be at least half the army, not including dismounted cavalry or skirmishers, and cavalry has to be at least a quarter, again, not including, or sorry, here including dismounted cavalry, even though they're fielded as infantry. So you could definitely have a very balanced list here, or lean more towards the infantry side. Again, cavalry could at max go to 50%. And then the cavalry have to be at least half of your cavalry units. And then our usual division and skirmisher things here. Skirmishers, again, 50% of infantry per division. And let's take a look at the list. It's, again, not a long one. So Frankish medium infantry with spear and shield. Again, your bog standard medium infantry unit, so nothing fancy there, 23 points per unit. We do have access to light infantry archers as small units. We only get 2 of those, so it's kind of an oddball restriction there. You know, usually it's like a one of that we see, but here we have access to 2. So, but nonetheless, still gives us a little bit of long range ability here with a 2, but small units. Then we can have dismounted cavalry heavy infantry, so kind of interesting option here, with spears and shields. Again, heavy infantry stat line, always good to see. And these guys are actually stubborn, and we get all that for 29 points. So pretty good option there. Basic skirmisher package here, we have javelins as small units. Again, very standard. We've seen that basically in every list. And then a little something different. Instead of just slings, we actually have staff slings, but just as a one of here, but our other option for getting a little bit of long-range firepower in the list, but only the 1 unit. And then coming into the cavalry, so cavalry, heavy cavalry with spears and or javelins. So bog standard here, 29 points, gives us a clash of 8. So, you know, a little bit lower than some of the heavy cavalry that we've seen out there with the 9, but you know, it is what it is. That's what we're going to have to be using for most of our cavalry if we want to have some heavy hitters in this list. But here's where it gets exciting with the upgrades. Now, if we want to upgrade to lances for 3 extra points, a little pricey, but that is just a strict upgrade over the spears, a little more hitting power there. And then finally, if we wanted to go royal retainers, which seemingly doesn't have any other restriction. Again, cavalry has to be 50% of the cavalry we field. We could even make it 100% of the cavalry. So there's no like 1 ofs, 2 ofs, 3 ofs, or anything like that, or percentages. So really everybody could be a royal retainer, seemingly, which is pretty baller. Does, of course, up the cost, but for 4 extra points, we're getting elite and tough fighters, which really does make these guys pretty damn, well, pun intended, elite. As far as just overall cavalry choices go, and especially for this period, that is going to be, those guys are going to do some solid work for you. Light cavalry, not bad here. We have light cavalry retainers as a normal unit. Very rare that we see the light cavalry in anything but small unit status. So a light cavalry unit with javelins or spears gives us a respectable clash of 7, and then a sustained of 5, although that very, very weak morale save, of course, being light unit. But 25 points for that. And then if we, this is just an interesting choice here, a little pricier, but we could have those same light cavalry with lances instead. So actually a little more hitting power for 28 points. But again, it's a choice you're going to have to make in your list building here. Again, 28 points for that versus the standard cavalry unit at 29 with spears, basically. And then finally, our final option to get a little bit of long-range firepower in the list. Again, this is definitely not a shooty list, right? We are very limited. In fact, 1, 2, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. We could have a total of 4 units in the list that actually can shoot at long range. So our light cavalry with bows fielded as a small unit, and gives us, again, that 2 for long range. So this is going to be a list about just getting up there and punching people in the face more so than sort of the true combined arms thing that we've seen recently with like the Arabs and the Byzantines and so on. And finally, everything's backed up with the standard and respectable leadership 8 here. Little disappointing, I would say, you know, in to not have an option here to essentially field Charlemagne for extra points and maybe bump that up to a 9 like we've seen in some of the early lists. But again, you could probably house rule that if you want, and if it's okay with your opponent. So, but yeah, fun list here. A little different than, again, what we've seen recently with the Arabs and the Byzantines in all the things that they can do. So no artillery or anything here, but a typical list here as far as getting into this time period. Great heavy cavalry and solid infantry, and again, just gonna get up there and smash you in the face. Pretty straightforward stuff here. The archery here, the long range firepower, short range, your missile troops, that's just there for just a little bit of support here and there. But again, that's not going to be a major part of your list. It's just going to be having to give solid orders, pick your fights, and hopefully punch through some enemy lines, and then start exposing flanks and things like that, and hopefully winning most of those battles. So again, definitely lean on those heavy cavalry. Again, they do make infantry sort of at least half your list here, and again, won't be bad if you run like the dismounted cavalieri and things like that. But really, the heavy hitters are going to be that cavalieri, especially if you give them the lances and then the royal retainers and all that stuff. So let us know what you guys think of the Franks here. Is it a little underwhelming? Is it just about right? How would you field it? Have you fielded it, and against what kind of contemporary armies, or what else did you try? Drop us a comment, guys. Like and subscribe. Support the channel. Check out the pinned comment as well if you want to pick up something from Warlord. If you go through that helps support the channel. So appreciate everybody who will consider doing that. So like, subscribe. We'll have more for you soon with Hail Caesar. Take care.